can use these arrow diagrams to work out our functions and our inverse functions. The one thing that we just have to remember is that when we have an inverse function, all it means is that we're going in this direction, as this is our input and then this becomes our output. So inverse just goes backwards. So if we take a look at our function d, the inverse of g of the inverse of f of 7. So what we end up doing is we want to work inside out. The inside function inverse f, our inverse f goes in this direction. So our input then is 7, our output is 4. So then we end up with the inverse function. We can read this as the inverse of 4. So we're going in this direction. The input is 4, the output then is going to be equal to 5. So that's how we go about using these arrow diagrams with a function and their inverses. For part E, it asks what is the domain and range of f of g of x. So what we're going to start with is our g function, inside function g. This represents the input. So this is what we can input into the function, and all these inputs end up with outputs. Okay, now our inputs then, our domain, the domain of this function works out to be all those potential inputs. So all those inputs we can put into the function, and the range is then the final output. It's not going to be all these terms. The range, based on our input, we can only output 7 and 1 as our output. So our domain are these 4 numbers, and our output are these 2 numbers.